All right, let's dive right into this explainer and completely shift your perspective on the absolute biological marvel that's probably just sleeping on your sofa right now. You look at your cat and you naturally assume you're sharing the exact same reality. But science tells us a totally different story. There are literally things happening in your living room at this very moment that your cat is fully dialed into, while your human senses are just entirely oblivious. So here is our agenda for today. We're going to cover 1. An invisible visual world. 2. The secret soundscape. 3. Built-in earth sensors. 4. Your unique audio profile. And finally, 5. Tuning into your biology. We are basically going on a journey from what they see and hear to how they actually sense the earth itself, and ultimately how they decode your most intimate biological signals.
Okay, we have all experienced this slightly creepy scenario, right? You're just sitting there reading a book, and your cat is locked onto an empty corner of the room, tracking something with absolute laser focus. It's super easy to joke that they're seeing ghosts, or maybe just assume they're happily ignoring you. But science actually proves they aren't doing either. They are genuinely observing a layer of reality that you are completely blind to. Section 1. An invisible visual world. Let's start by looking at how the physical space of your home looks fundamentally different to your feline companion.
Get this. According to a 2014 study published in the Proceedings of the Royal Society B, cats have lenses that allow ultraviolet light to pass right straight through to their retina. Human lenses, they block UV light almost completely. So what does this mean? It means that plain white shirt you're wearing right now might actually be covered in intricate glowing patterns to your cat. Even the flowers on your windowsill have these natural UV guides that basically look like glowing neon landing strips. Their world is lit up in ways our brains just literally cannot process. So when they're staring at that quote-unquote empty space, they're likely watching a spectacular, high-definition micro-movement live show. Because their retinas are packed with a vastly higher number of rod cells compared to ours, they're unbelievably sensitive to the slightest motion. We're talking catching every single frame of tiny dust particles, a piece of lint floating off the couch, drifting gnats, or just subtle shadows shifting around, stuff your brain completely filters out. Their whole visual system was built to lock onto these microscopic movements, to spot prey, and that wild instinct is playing out right there in your living room. Now, here is a really fascinating little fact. 20 to 30 centimeters. That is the exact distance where your cat's incredibly sharp farsight goes completely blurry. They are incredible, absolute motion-detecting machines at a distance, but they are naturally farsighted up close. So when something gets closer than about 8 or 10 inches, their eyes just cannot focus on it anymore. But hey, they don't miss a beat. The second an object enters that 20 to 30 centimeter blind spot, they switch over to a completely different sensory system. Their facial whiskers swing forward like a radar array to feel what their eyes can't focus on anymore, and their sense of smell kicks into high gear. And it gets even cooler. They have these specialized sensors called carpal whiskers on the backs of their front legs. These take over to physically feel and monitor prey that is already caught in their paws. It's brilliant. They totally bypass the need for close-up vision. Moving right along to Section 2, the secret soundscape. Let's move inward from their visual field and explore the entirely unheard ultrasonic soundtrack that's buzzing through your house right now. There is a massive, massive gap in how we experience sound. The human ear totally taps out at a maximum frequency of around 20,000 hertz. But your cat, they can hear frequencies soaring all the way up to 64,000 hertz. A study in the journal Hearing Research confirmed that this incredible biological feature evolved specifically to detect these super high-pitched ultrasonic calls of small prey in the wild. But since they live in a modern home and not the wilderness, this superpower actually tunes them into a completely different soundtrack. Think about your electronic devices, phone chargers, LED lights, or even just your TV sitting quietly on standby. Those are actually emitting constant, high-pitched sounds. So the really crucial takeaway here is that your cat is not predicting the future when their ears twitch at an empty corner. They're just listening to the electronic hum of your house. Every tiny little electronic squeak is a normal part of their everyday life. All right, Section 3, built-in earth sensors. Let's see how their senses actually extend far beyond the living room to act as biological seismographs for the earth itself. Have you ever noticed your cat gets super restless, maybe pacing around or just hiding under the bed for seemingly absolutely no reason? And then boom, a heavy storm rolls in an hour later? Well, they aren't just being dramatic. Cats can detect micro vibrations in the ground in incredibly subtle shifts in atmospheric pressure. This completely explains why they vanish long before the very first drop of rain falls. They literally feel the atmospheric pressure dropping in real time while you're still swiping around on your weather app. And this profound sensitivity also applies to earthquakes. Now, to be clear, they don't magically predict earthquakes days in advance. There's no science backing that up at all. But here's what actually happens. Earthquakes send out two distinct types of waves. The P waves arrive first. They are incredibly fast, subtle, and basically impossible for a human to notice. But your cat's paws? They are packed with specialized nerve receptors that act like built-in shock sensors, and they get triggered instantly by those early P waves. So again, they aren't psychic. They're just biologically hardwired to feel those early P waves seconds, or even minutes, before the violent S waves finally show up and actually shake the room. Which brings us to Section 4, your unique audio profile. This is where we bridge the gap from the outside environment directly to their deeply intimate connection with you. Have you ever walked in your front door and found your cat already sitting there, just patiently waiting for you? It's not magic. A 2013 animal cognition study proved that cats can distinguish their owner's voice from a total stranger's. But it actually goes way, way beyond just your voice. They mentally categorize this massive database of your specific mechanical sounds to build an entire audio profile of you. The exact hum of your car's engine, the unique rhythm of your footstep, the specific jingle of your keys. They know exactly when you're arriving. And they completely ignore the neighbor's car pulling in because those sounds just don't match your personal mechanical fingerprint. And finally, Section 5, tuning in to your biology. This brings us to, honestly, the most mind-blowing and emotional sensory superpower of all. You might genuinely think you're hiding a bad day really well. You're sitting quietly, you're acting calm, but those same animal cognition studies prove that cats actually physically measure your emotional state. They can literally hear your heartbeat and listen to the rhythm of your breathing change. When you are stressed out, your heart rate naturally increases and your body chemistry physically shifts. Your cat's senses are finely tuned enough to pick up on all of these real biological signals in real time. And this fact right here brilliantly explains why they inexplicably curl up next to you when you're feeling upset. They aren't guessing, and they aren't just mirroring your mood out of some imagined mystical aura. They are responding to concrete, measurable biological signals your body is continuously broadcasting. Whether they start meowing more, press up close against you, or just quietly position themselves in the same room, they are actively reacting to the physical changes happening inside your body. So, to wrap up this explainer today, here is the big takeaway. Your cat is an incredibly complex, highly evolved observer of your reality. From the hidden ultraviolet patterns on your clothes, to the high-pitched hum of your electronics, to the very rhythm of your beating heart, they are experiencing a remarkably deep, completely invisible world. It really makes you stop and wonder just how much of our inner lives we are unknowingly sharing with them every single day. Next time you look at your cat, just remember they are tuned into a channel you didn't even know existed. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and definitely keep your eyes and ears open to the hidden worlds around you.